I've been thinking about something that I saw on Instagram this morning all day. Uh, it was one of the first things I saw. It was a post by Christina Cuomo about the healing journey of her husband, Chris Cuomo, who I guess a lot of people see on CNN from time to time. I guess he has his own show, and obviously, a lot of us in New York are seeing his brother, um, Mario, who is the governor, uh, talk about how he's handling the virus and the pandemic in New York. But I'm more interested in what Christina's doing right now. And I actually sent her a little message today. I don't know her. I would probably have, I'm sure we have 100 friends in common just because they're part of this community near where I live. But it just suddenly hit me that I would love to see the combination of what she's doing with what he's doing, Chris, and not healing. I mean, what Chris is doing um, on CNN. And I would love to see her with her own show talking about healing and wellness in a different way than, say, like Sanjay Gupta does, who I also happen to know and love. And actually, Sanjay and I share a birthday, and we used to be neighbors in Atlanta. Um, and I am so impressed with um, something his wife recently wrote um, about him and how hard he's working. Yeah, I, if I could wave a magic wand, I would be shining more light on these women. I really would. Um, so, for people who don't know, actually, it's funny, I mentioned this a long time ago that my computer is sitting on top of a stack of magazines, and this is the top magazine. And I'm sure I mentioned it, and I mentioned that Oprah was on the cover, but more importantly, this is a magazine about wellness called Purist, and Christina Cuomo publishes it. And yeah, I mean, it's still a glossy magazine and full of fashion and it has all kinds of messages in it, but generally speaking, it is all geared toward wellness and health and personal responsibility and things that I think really matter and make a difference. And I don't know if magazines are much longer for this world. I personally love them, but um, I really would like to see more of this information in the world, um, because I know it's the same sort of healing message that got me through my own experience with Lyme disease. I did not go to a hospital. I did not, well, I started at a traditional doctor who turned out to be not helpful at all for me. And I know a lot of people love science and traditional medicine and all of that. I don't. It's not my thing. You can barely get me to take aspirin. I don't like pills at all. I don't like pills as solutions to much of anything. Um, but I do love food as medicine, and I do love learning about alternative kinds of healing. And I think Purist is a pretty good source for that. And I love seeing it in action. I love reading exactly what Christina is feeding her husband, who is sick with COVID-19. And I I would love to see more light shined on that sort of message. I would love to see Purist magazine be a bigger thing. I don't know why it isn't. Um, I would love to see an explosion of healers after we get through the hard part of this pandemic. Um, and I think we're going to need it. I was talking with my friends. We have our little Zoom cocktail party once a week, and somebody mentioned that people working at hospitals are going to need so much healing, physical, emotional, um, all of it, therapy, body work. Um, you know, being on the front lines is traumatic right now. And how are we going to heal the healers when we get through the hardest of this? Uh, that's a good question. That's a good question. How do we heal ourselves? How do we heal each other? Um, how can we look at healing differently? Because obviously we weren't very well prepared for this. Um, and I am so curious to see how globally diet and culture come into play um, once we start looking at patterns and solutions, things like that. So, in the meantime, I'm working on keeping my vitamin D levels high, which means sunshine whenever I can get it, soaking up sunshine. Vitamin C, I've been eating a lot more fruit and vegetables. Um, I still don't eat eggs. Um, chicken a little, trying to cut back. Um, yeah, the way to stay healthy starts on the inside, and it starts with the things that you put into your body. Um, and that's on us. That's on us to decide what those things are. Every day is a new opportunity and a new gift. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.